Welcome back to our episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Women at the Front. My name is Miley.
My name is Robin.
In this episode, last week's episode was us doing introductions and talking about why we each individually decided to enlist and or join the military. This week's episode is going to be about our own experiences as far as through our boot camp, MCT, which is Marine Combat Training, and our Schoolhouse, which is where we learn our job or a little bit about it. I'm going to start with my own experiences. I did not have the greatest experience, I guess you could say, throughout boot camp, but it wasn't the environment, it was the platoon and the group of girls that I was in this cycle with. So I graduated with Mike Company, Mighty Mike, best company, hardest company to actually graduate as far as being on the West Coast. I'm not too sure about Paris Island, but the West Coast, that's one of the harder ones to graduate with. So nobody in the platoon was for each other. They were all acting as individuals, and I understand that's a different mindset to change to, and that's why you go to boot camp. They teach you to work as a team and to not be selfish. So I just had a really bad experience. A group of girls, they just wanted to talk crap about me. They just wanted to talk crap about me, either about me or to my face. And I'm like, the one time that I actually stood up for myself, it's funny because they came back and they're like, damn, you wanted to be so mean or whatever. And I was like, but it's okay for y'all to do that shit to me. You done got me effed up. Nope. But unfortunately, a lot of these girls I did not or was not a fan of in boot camp followed me throughout MCT and the Schoolhouse. So yay me, of course. So MCT was actually great for me. I loved it. Mine got fast tracked, so it was a little less than a month because it's typically a month long. And my instructor for my squad, I shit you not, it was a staff sergeant, and I annoyed the living crap out of him because I was so scared to fail, and I didn't want to fail, and I asked so many questions, and he literally signed my poster I got and said, stop asking so many questions. So he always lives rent-free in the back of my head. I still think about, what if he's still an instructor or a combat instructor?
What was his name?
Staff Sergeant Yates.
No, I didn't have him. I wonder. You probably had big problems.
Well, I graduated with hotel company.
Oh, okay.
So I was hotel. But he was a badass. I'm not even gonna lie. He was a badass. And he was just so cool. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm glad I became my favorite of his. And he always saw me mopping because obviously we learned how to clean. Learn how to fucking clean. That becomes one of our jobs mainly. And he would always come into the squad bay and he would always see me with a mop. He was like, why is Nick Ryan the only one with a damn mop? Give it to somebody else. And I was like, I'm just trying to get it done, Staff Sergeant. And then he made me give it to somebody else. But overall, I was able to meet a lot of different people for MCT. And like I said, as far as the environment wise, it was a lot of fun. However, I will say the hikes absolutely suck. The 15, I think it was the 15K, I had blisters on the bottoms of my feet. It was so bad and I was in so much pain, but I was not gonna fail.
The only way through is out.
Yeah, pretty much. It's literally a month, less than a month if you go around Christmas time. Just fight through it, trust me. Other than that, when I got to the Schoolhouse, which I went to Camp Lejeune because I am an administrative specialist, so that was my Schoolhouse, you vaguely learn your job, which I had a really weird experience in the Schoolhouse. And also kind of sucked at the same time because we were heavily restricted because of the classes in front of us. They could not keep it in their pants for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. And it just blew my mind, and they couldn't they were drinking, underage and everything like that, so we were really restricted. We got civilian clothes taken away. We literally had to wear our uniforms, our camis, the entire time, 7 days a week.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, I blame y'all.
So sorry.
I blame them. But, so, the Schoolhouse was a little different. I was very closed off as far as being in the Schoolhouse because at that time I was in a relationship, but then obviously like recently I got out of that like toxic relationship. So we were on the same base, so we mainly hung out like every Saturday. And so I didn't really feel the need or want to go and hang out with anybody or get stuck. Because the one time I did go off base with people, I got yelled at because we got stuck at the gate and got back late. So I learned my lesson and didn't do that again. But that would be the only thing. Oh, and then my instructor actually, she took I became kind of like under her wing a little bit because I was older and she came to me and asked me so many different questions about so much drama that there was this one specific person in my class that freaking started it, and I swear all he ever did was talk out his fucking ass. Like everything that came out of his mouth was a lie. And his wife or whatever at the time, she was so freaking annoying too, I swear. There's still some people that were annoying, but you know, I've actually been in contact with a few of the Marines that I graduated with. I actually work with that's at my command now. I actually work with one that's at one of the detachments that we work with. So he was pretty cool too. But that was my experience. It was very different. Boot camp was a lot of fun because I lost a crap ton of weight. It was just the girls that I got put with were not for each other and they didn't do anything to help anybody out. And all I needed was help, and nobody would help, even though I would do that for them. And then MCT, amazing experience, loved it. I would go back in a heartbeat, even though the hike sucked. And then the schoolhouse, like I said, I was very restricted, so it actually sucked being there. And then we had counts twice a day instead of once a day, so we had counts in the morning and we had counts at night. And we also had counts in the morning on the weekends, even though we used to not have, they didn't have that beforehand when I first got there. Sorry. Other than that, moving forward, and then I eventually got to the fleet, which I ended up getting stationed in Virginia Beach, Virginia. My first impression, not a fan. Not a fan of this area. And the specific unit that I'm at, or that we're at, we're not even considered in the fleet. This is not, we don't do 04, 05 PT, we literally just do PT on our own. We hardly PT as a shop. It's more so on our own. And there are, every unit has its pros and cons, obviously. But don't get me wrong, the area is honestly kind of growing on me. And I don't know, I've been enjoying the beach a lot more, especially in my free time with how much I have stacked onto my plate. But I've actually really started to, this place has really started to grow on me and the people, and I'm not ready to let that go, but on the same hand, it's the stuff that you go through, obviously you just have to experience it for yourself. I can't really go into too much detail, but it's mentally drained me and has caused me a lot of problems. Other than that, this is a pretty chill unit. Like I said, I can't go into too much detail. I wish I could. But this is a pretty chill unit, and it's a training command, so you deal with students and instructors. That's all you deal with, and permanent personnel, obviously, which is us. But and you work with 9 other detachments or whatever, which is 9 different S1s. So it's a lot for the amount of people that we have. It's a very small shop compared to most. But yeah, overall, this area is low-key starting to draw me just a little bit. So I think that's all for my experiences. So I'm gonna pass it off to Robin.
Okay, so my experience during boot camp, I would say boot camp was very challenging. It was hard. You get to the fleet and people are like, oh, boot camp was nothing, right? It wasn't. Boot camp was hard to me. It was definitely challenging. I was definitely not one of the Marines that slipped through the cracks. If you know, you know. My drill instructors were always on my behind. I don't curse, so it's weird. But they were always on me. Always. I got told by one drill instructor that I will get IT'd every single day. Every single day. You know why? Because she caught me smiling behind the racks. I was smiling. So yeah. Boot camp was definitely challenging. I would say physically, because I've never played a sport. I'm not the most physical person ever. I hardly ever went to the gym or ran or did any of that before I joined. So just throw me into that setting, it was difficult. I will say though, I have made some lifelong friends since joining the military. Boot camp specifically, like I have some girls who I literally love to death. I also feel like it's really easy for me to make friends as well. Like, you know when people meet a guy or whatever and they're just like, I don't know, it's something about them, like I'm in love. I literally just am in love with my friends, like with females that I meet, and like not on anything, no gay stuff or anything like that, but like genuinely when I meet someone and like I'm like, we're vibing, I get a feeling where it's like, oh my god, like I love this person, you know? I don't know if anyone else relates to that, but that's just how I feel, okay? That's just how I am.
I can't say I've ever had that feeling towards anybody, but then again, it's hard for me to meet people, but I don't know what it is. There's just something wrong with me.
No, there's not. They're there. I'm very open to friendships and people, so that's just me, you know? And then I would say MCT, it was hard. MCT was also hard for me. I think it was a little bit more challenging than boot camp because when I was at MCT, mine also got fast tracked, just so you know. It rained every single day. We were wet 24/7, wet and muddy 24/7. It was like the Crucible all over again. The Crucible, oh my god, it was terrible.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And also, at the end of this video, or actually not the end of this video, later on, if you guys want to do Q&A and go into actual depth about what happened at MCT, what happened to blah, 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 we will let you know, like, let us know. But MCT was terrible for me. I was literally drenched every single day.
That's funny, it only rained once when I was in MCT.
It must be nice. So yeah, that's my MCT experience. I was drenched 24/7. I can't remember much. I will say I have a terrible, terrible, terrible memory. So I literally cannot remember much besides that. The Schoolhouse was interesting.
Because you had a different experience.
My experience was different than hers. It was more lax because more changes started coming into effect because of the platoons and everything when I was there. We were just, and I'm saying we because I'm not just gonna say they, because I was also part of certain things, so I'm not gonna like alienate myself as if I am just so innocent. We were just doing whatever, whenever, however, like whatever we wanted to do, breaking all the rules. So that made it harder for the next tax, they're called tax or whatever, to when they eventually joined. Her. She joined after me, so like her experience was not as laid back as mine.
It just kept getting worse and worse from what I could hear about previous platoons and or attacks.
But I had fun. The Schoolhouse, I had fun.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun with all my friends.
Uh-huh.
I found some lifelong friends at the Schoolhouse too. I still talk to them to this day. Schoolhouse was 2 years ago. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll go into depth another time if anyone has questions and wants to know like more in depth. This is just like brief summary, MCT boot camp, Schoolhouse. Now fast forward to here in Virginia Beach where we got stationed. Yay! I also feel the same way about her. Like I did not like the area when I first got here. I still don't like it. It's grown on me a little bit, but not enough for me to ever like say I would call this place home. This is not home.
The traffic is so
terrible.
If you're from Virginia,
I have anxiety driving.
If you're from Virginia, Virginia is not for fucking lovers.
No, it is not. But it's plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
Virginia is
it's
for
the
lovers.
state phrase of saying whatever it is.
It's plastered everywhere, like whatever. But as far as the unit, like she said, pros and cons. Can't get into too much specifics. I would say I am also mentally just drained.
It has a huge effect on you a lot mentally here. I mean, every unit, like I said, has its own like pros and cons, but we don't know what other units, obviously. We are here for 3 years, 4-year contract. So it's like, you don't get to experience a new unit until you leave.
Exactly. And then the thing is maybe other units are like doing all these ruts and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. I have friends, like I said, I've made lifelong friends. They are at these other units doing all this other stuff. I have something to go based off of. I can't say too much, but you know, I have friends that are at these other units and they tell me about their experiences compared to mine, and we'll leave it at that.
It's definitely different.
It's definitely different. I would just say, I think it's just different.
It's different areas too and different commands.
Exactly. So yeah, that is the end. I don't have anything else to say about Bootcamp, MCT, Schoolhouse, my unit. That's pretty much it.
Another thing I will say, because her talking about her experience. So another thing that I'm going to add on, because she gave me an idea from hers, is in boot camp, honestly, like, I didn't take planning before going to boot camp very, very well. Like, I was like actively, I was actively in the gym, but honestly, if I'm being honest, I was eating like shit, and I was drinking alcohol like every weekend. Like, I literally showed up to one of the pulley functions, which are pulleys when you like enlist and you haven't shipped off to boot camp yet. And I shit you not, I showed up hungover and I felt like shit. Like, I did not take it seriously. So when I got to boot camp, it was a struggle. It was a struggle for me a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Now I will say, I tried my best to blend in and stay in the back, and so I wouldn't get noticed. I'm 5'9", I'm tall for a female, and there's this other girl I went there with too, and she was a little taller than me. We were literally the two tallest ones in our platoon, and we were blonde with glasses.
There's no way not to get noticed. Sometimes, like, there's literally no way not to get noticed.
I don't know what it is with this branch, but I swear all these short people join it. I don't get, like, I shit not, like, me and the girl I went to boot camp with, literally, were the tallest ones. We were in the front of our platoon, and we were the tallest ones. And for some reason, we were both blonde, and we both wore glasses. So we literally got noticed right away. Like, they literally IT'd me all the damn time, and I didn't even do anything. But you know what? That's just a part of the boot camp experience. But hey, I came out fucking A.
IT is intense training, if you don't know.
Yeah.
We both got IT the F.
Yeah. So, I mean, look up videos. If not, we can do like a Q&A or whatever for it. But yeah, I got IT'd a lot. And I literally tried my best to act like I was doing something. So I literally hid in the bathroom, actually. I have a story. So it was the previous fire watch, which, you know, whatever, if you know, you know. But one of my drill instructors were going around trying to find everybody that was a part of that last hour fire watch, and all of them were already getting IT'd because they screwed up. So they literally, she just went around, she was like, if you guys don't find the people that want fire watch, I'm just gonna pick random people and IT you ass. Or like, IT you. She went around just picking like you, and I knew she was gonna pick me, and I hid in the bathroom. Like, I hid in the bathroom so I didn't get IT. And that was when we were up north at Camp Paddington to doing the final steps before becoming a Marine. And yeah, I hid in the bathroom. I was like, I literally saw her walk like right by me. I was like trying to be like blend in with the wall. But overall, like, it was a really good experience. I did meet a lot of cool people, but none of them stuck. Like, she has better experience than I did. But like I said, there's something wrong with me. I tend to don't keep people in my life very long. I don't know what it is. Because all I do is try to put effort towards people. But I think the problem is not a lot of people want me in their lives, and they don't make the effort to keep me there. Which is totally fine. It'd be what it be. But yeah, so I just wanted to add a little bit more because she gave me an idea. So that's all for my experience. Alright, so that's all for this week's episode. Alright, so like we said throughout the video, if you guys have any Q&A or questions about bootcamp, MCT, and the Schoolhouse, at least for Marine Corps side, only Marine Corps side, or just in general, I guess we can answer them. Alright, so like we said throughout the video, if you have any Q&As or want any questions answered regarding bootcamp, MCT, or the Schoolhouse, please comment down below, let us know. We can always do another video.
Alright, that is all for this week's episode. Stay tuned for next week's. This is
Women at the Front.